Well, I'm out again. Today I'm in a place called Saxlingham Nethergate, which is about 9 miles south of Norwich. I'm actually in the church car park. This is St Mary's. I think that's St Mary's the Virgin is what it's actually called. Yeah, won't be looking at that church today. We'll be looking for a church ruin in the middle of a field and some woods. There's also a few interesting other little buildings and things on the way, and a few little footpaths to go down. So, well, see what we can find. Right, just have a quick look at the church. So this is late Saxon. Most of what you see today is 14th, 15th century, although it was heavily what's the word restored by the Victorians in 1867. So yeah, I think it's changed quite a lot. I think the doorway is supposed to be one of the late Saxon features. Yeah, quite a nice little door. Right, however, we'll be going in today. Going to head off this way. Yeah, so Saxlingham Nethergate probably means, well, Saxlingham probably means settlement of people of Sax, or Sax could be, which is Saxon. So it's a Saxon settlement, or the name is anyway. And Nethergate, well, nether just means lower or under, and gate in the term of, or in the context of place names, it means road, way, or could mean area. Yeah, so it's quite a pretty little village. You've got the old hall over there. Yeah, this timber framed mansion, built on a 13th century moated site, is one of the oldest mansion houses in England. Dates from the mid 17th century, has a 18th century panelled room, and had alterations during 1924. It was used as a hospital in World War I. There are remains of early 20th century gardens and an 18th century stable, which have been recorded in the grounds of the house. Unfortunately, there's a yew hedge in the way, so you can't see much of it. Ah, that's a better view. Yeah, quite an impressive building. So this is the current school, a very small school. I think there's only like 3 classes. So this school was completely rebuilt in 1902 in a plain board school style, when it replaced the old school, which is further down the street. That building there, called the Lilacs, is also a former school and dates to the mid 19th century. Built from colour washed brick and slate roofing, single story high. The shallow roof, as you can see, has crow stepped gables. Not only decorative, but they were useful if you wanted to get on the roof. You could climb up them. So it's a central axial chimney stack. Yeah, so that's one of the other schools. The other one is down here on the right. Right, so that thatched building there, just coming into view. The old schoolhouse. Dates back to the 18th century. Built from rendered timber frame, thatched roofing. West end gable features particularly fine windows and coloured lead diamond glazing. A later crenellated low extension has been added in the end there. So this building here, Adelaide Cottage and Adelaide House, used to be a pub. So Adelaide House dates back to around 1700. Timber frame construction, brick shaped east gable. The interior was remodelled in 1790 and other alterations were made at a later date. The cottage is also timber framed and dates to the 17th century or earlier. Yeah, so the Queen Adelaide pub was given as at Saxlingham Thorpe until the 25th of March 1883. Described in February 1906 as a beer house, which is shown as a beer house on OS map 1905-1906, with very good and excellent accommodation. Sales in the final year of trading were 40 3/8 barrels. You thought they'd have finished the other barrel, wouldn't you? Licence retained by S&P. It was reported 15th of February 1963 that the house was closed and the licence held by a representative of the brewery. So Queen Adelaide was the wife of William IV and is credited with popularising the weaving of bombasine, which is a fabric originally made of silk or silk and wool. So I think weaving was quite popular in the village at one time. Right, I think the little lane, I think it's a restricted byway actually, I think this is it. So right on the corner, Putts Hill, yeah, restricted byway. So let's have a little walk down here. Yeah, so this is shown on Faden's map and on later OS maps. I don't know if all of it is, but certainly part of it is called Wash Lane. That's a nice position for a house, right up on the hill, on the bank. Horses down here. Right, looks like there's a little footpath sign up here. So I do need to turn off. I don't need to, but the way I want to go is off to one side. So we can carry on up that way. I think this is the one I want, up here. There's another restricted byway going off that way. I think it's this field. Is it this field? It's a pity we can't get let's see if we can just get a little bit of a view of this field, because I think it's either this one or that one. One of them has been noted as having signs of strip farming. medieval strip farming. So assuming there's still a pasture and hasn't been ploughed, you might see some signs. I did have a look on the LiDAR, but you can't really pick out anything on there. Well, there is a bit of a ridge across here. I can't see anything definite. Yeah, nothing really shows up. Perhaps in certain lights that would show at certain angles. I have seen strip farming fields before and they're very obvious. But of course you don't know if that's ever been ploughed out or anything. Right, just check my map. Pretty sure this is the place I want to be. Because we're sort of turning off one byway onto another. Yeah, it must be the one. Right, go this way. Now, a dilemma. That way or that way? I'm going to say this looks more like a footpath or byway than the other one. Just looks like that goes into the field. Probably just field access. I am getting attacked by brambles though. Should turn off to the right. Perhaps people will just take the other route because it's easier than fighting through here. Well, I just saw an adder scurry off into the undergrowth. Yeah, he'd gone. Tom had switched the camera back on now. I almost stood on him. So better watch where we're treading. Yeah, basking in the sun. Right, yeah. Could have cut around there, around that field. Looks like what other people have done. Right, you can probably just see part of the church there, church ruin in the woods. Right, so in this field here, there have been some finds. And I did have a quick look at LiDAR before I came out, and this little dip here, middle of this field, runs right up to the church. Does actually show up on LiDAR. So I wonder if that's an old hollow road. And this was originally part of the village. I think it's actually Saxlingham Thorpe here, though it's been amalgamated with Saxlingham Nethergate. Right, let's head up to the church. Yeah, there's also been some finds in this field to the right of the church. Right, Got some footpath signs here anyway. I'm actually going to carry on down that way, which will bring me back onto that original bridleway. But before that, oh, this is actually Boadicea's way, not Boudica, Boadicea. That's what I was always brought up to call her anyway. Right, so this is also called St Mary's. Ruins of the church are still in regular use for public worship. Right, so the church probably originated in late Saxon period, as is shown by the design of the nave and the two Saxo-Norman phases visible in the chancel. Other features like the tower and buttresses date to around 1500. Repairs to the building stopped in 1684, and by 1687 the building was ruinous, with materials being used to repair St Mary's Church in Saxlingham Nethergate. Possibly even some of the stained glass is now in that church. The church probably fell out of use as villagers migrated away from Saxlingham Thorpe to other locations, which is quite a common theme in my videos. We've been to look at abandoned churches or church ruins. And here we are, a little bit of information. Yeah, basically what I've said. Very quiet here. Yeah, so I think the footpath actually carries on that way. Yeah, there are a lot of footpaths around this area. Yeah, so it's a very nice place to come to if you want to have a walk, and especially on a day like this. Right, I think we'll carry on. This field behind here, which you can't see because of all the trees. See if we can get a better shot as we go down the footpath. When I looked on radar, when I looked on the LiDAR, there was a couple of interesting features and some possible roadways in that field. However, there was once a brickworks in this group of trees, little copse there, through there. So whether those buildings were anything to do with that, or whether that is actually part of the old village as well. You can just see the field through here. The brickworks is over here. Now the brickworks are marked on a 1906 map I looked at, OS map, but all the buildings are concentrated in this area here, not over there. So that's a possibility of the original village location as well. Oh, we should be able to see a bit of the field. You probably won't see anything from ground level. Actually, those having said that, those lumps and bumps may just be this, one of the clumps there, wherever that is. And there was something further down this way, which I can't see anything. That looks like it might be a tree stump. So yeah, LiDAR doesn't tell you everything, does it? We'll have a little look just to be nosy. Not sure if this is common or just farmers' fields. There's no gates or anything, no sign saying private. Yeah, got a bit of a furrow there, and just some lumpy ground, which could be anything. Bit of a rubbish dump. A brick, bit of concrete, a scooter, some more concrete. Yeah, it's a bit odd to have a lumpy bumpy bit in the middle of a field though. The other one was that might just be that damp area there. Yeah, bit of a hollow. Yeah, but it did look like there was some trackways heading sort of towards the church from these lumps. Yeah, there is a bit of a dip here. Yeah, so who knows? Who knows? I think there was something also went off in that direction. Right, let's get back on the trail. Yeah, so this is where the brickworks were, in this wooded area. Here, I don't think there's anything left. Let's just have a little look in here. I think we'll see anything much. Certainly no buildings. Just a few lumps and bumps. Yeah, it was up the top end of this this area where the buildings were marked on the map. Oh, well, here we are. There are some remnants which somebody has made a little den out of. Yeah, fire entrance area there. Well, according to the Norfolk Heritage site, there's nothing left, but that would suggest otherwise. Let's have a look around the other side and the end. Yep, definitely some sort of brickwork. We've got some sort of entrance there for fire. So I'm assuming the bricks would have either been stacked in this side and the fire sent in that side and the fire sent that way, or in this side the fire sent this way. Yeah. What about that? I think there were a couple of we've got bricks here as well. Yeah, I think there were a couple of buildings marked on the map very close together. I can't see any sign. There's someone through here. Yeah, looks like there is another one. I'm sort of watching where I step now since I've seen that header. Brick. Ah. Yeah, so there's some sort of flue there by the looks of it. Round. Very interesting. I didn't expect to find anything there at all. Yeah, that goes out over there. Always worth having a look, isn't it? Don't believe what you read. Right, let's get back on the trail. So I head back up to the church and sort of go across this way. Right, here we are, a bit faded. Crossfield path. I think we just head straight across here and we should be able to pick up the restricted byway, which is sort of down in that valley there. There does appear to be some wear in the pasture across here, so I guess I'm going the right way. So I'm going to go down here and then I'm going to turn left. Right, indeed, there is a gap in the hedge. Oh. Brick line ditch. coming up to another little junction. This is the public bridle way that way. Red Wings. Oh, didn't realise they had a place out here. Right, that probably explains why there's lots of hoof prints. Okay, I think this is the way I want to go. It's got a sign. It's all very nice around this way. I've probably been through this village hundreds of times when I lived at Laxfield, and I used to commute to Norwich for work on my motorbike. This was the route through Saxlingham Nethergate that I used to take, rather than go along the boring old A140. Yeah, so been through the village many times, but never actually stopped. Always looked quite interesting, which indeed it is. Right, I've got a little way marker here. At some point I need to head back up that way. It's probably that row of trees on the distance there. But it's saying here to go up this way. Just a little kick in the field, I think. Yeah, there's that chap with his dog, so I must be going the right way. Should be getting to the point where I need to turn back towards the village. I think this might be it. Yeah, got a way marker. So you can carry on that way or this way.
You okay?
Yep.
The mud hole.
Sorry.
The mud hole.
Yeah.
That's what this place is called.
Oh, this is. I've seen it on the map.
This is mud hole.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Well, there used to be two cottages sat in there.
Yeah.
These trees are.
oh, in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at all these bricks and stuff, this is where they pulled the cottages down.
Ah, right.
So there's two cottages just stood in there where there's
Ah.
mud hole cottages, they were called.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I was on a. It's marked on the old OS map. I was looking at an
mud hole.
1880 map. Yeah.
This is it.
Ah. And that's why it's called mud hole.
Yeah, well, mud
Obviously. Yeah. Oh, thanks. That's a bit of information. Oh yeah, sort of see the platform. I suppose there's anything left. Oh, what about that? Bit of local information. I need to change my battery in a minute as well. There's a little pile of bricks here, but I don't think that's anything to do with the original location. Yeah, obviously some remnants. Yeah, very interesting. Right, let's carry on. Yeah, a few bits of brick in the path, probably all came from that. Those cottages that chap was saying about. It's all very open round here. I've not come across very many gates or fences or anything like that, which makes me wonder if it is just common land, most of it. And look at these. So just coming up here is where I want to turn off to the right. Can carry straight on. I want to head off to the right. That's a way marker there. Might be getting a bit of wind noise. There's a bit of a breeze across here. Though it's very sunny, there is still a little bit of a chill in the air. Blossom there. Blackthorn, I think it is. One of the earliest blooms you'll see in the hedge. Right, so this should take me up to the lane where there are a couple of interesting houses we'll have a look at. Right, just coming up to the road. There's a sign. Right, what's that? That's Low Farm Cottages. What I'm looking for is Hill House. Yes, I think that thatch place there, I think that is Hill House Cottages. Very pretty they are too. I think it is just now a single dwelling. Was at one time 3 cottages, or converted into 3 cottages. Yeah, Hill Cottage. Right. That's the restricted byway I want to take. We'll just have a little look up here at Hill House, which is another interesting building. No, I don't know if we're going to see much of it. No, we can't. And if we go through here, I don't think we can see anything much. No. It's all very hidden. Yeah, that is a bit of a shame. Right, well let's carry on. On this restricted byway, I think is called, on old maps anyway, Plumber's Lane. short distance along here, there should be a footpath off to the right. The only worrying factor is I couldn't see, it's supposed to come out near the school, and I couldn't see the other end of it, so yeah, plough in there, just left. Yeah, so unless it's been diverted and the map hasn't been changed, so it came off the Norfolk highways map, so it should be correct. We shall only find out when we get to the end of it. Unless the other end is very well hidden. Is this it? Ah, is this it? Public footpath. I thought it might have been a bit further along actually. Let's just check we've got the right one, because there is another footpath further down. Where are we? Map. I think it might be. There's no other footpaths shown before, so we take a chance. I can see someone coming the other way, so we should be on the right route. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. A couple of little surprises which I didn't expect. Yeah, so please like, please subscribe, please comment. I do like to see some comments, but don't seem to get very many, apart from the usual crowd that comment, and that's much appreciated. What else was I going to say? Short-term memory lapse. Yeah, it's a very nice walk. I think it's only, I think it's somewhere between 2 and 3 miles. There were my deviations. I've probably gone a bit further. Yeah, very pleasant. And like I say, there are a lot more footpaths in the area. Very interesting part of Norfolk. And look at that view. I still haven't remembered what I was going to say. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, I think on the last, not the last one, previous video to that, I had a couple of dislikes, but nothing in the comments. So if you do dislike, just give me a clue as to what it is you don't like in the comments, so I can try and adjust what it is I'm doing. Because it is a little bit annoying when you don't know the reason why. Well, we'll soon find out where this comes out. Some allotments there. I think I did see them marked on an old map, so they've been there for some time. Pleasant day. And my back is easing off a bit now. I yeah, had a bit of sciatica earlier, so I was lumping a motorcycle engine around yesterday, and yeah, pulled me back a bit, but actually good walk, and that is now easing off. Oh, there's a little gap I can see here. I think we can get out that way if we have to. They come in for the allotments. There's the back of the school. Oh, kids must be off. They always seem to be on holiday these days. I'm sure when I went to school we didn't have that many holidays. Because it is during the week. Oh, the footpath actually comes through the entrance to the school. That's a bit strange. Yeah, very odd. That's why I couldn't see the other end of it then. So it goes through the ground of the school. There's another look at the old school, or one of the old schools, with those crow gables. Oh yeah, I can actually see the sign now. Yeah, there we are. It's marked. I think it was because the school fence was here, that's what threw me. Right, and it's parked up there. There we are. Saxlingham. And the old hall. Well, you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.